And good afternoon, everybody. Again, Freelance Teacher Podcast. I'm Doug Marola. Welcome back to our discussion about various things. This one is about the 2016 election and the aftermath. And I don't think this is going to be the last podcast, videocast by me or by anybody else about this election. It was a unique one, to say the least. You've seen probably the death of the mainstream media. I know people who follow the mainstream media and actually post their links on Facebook. The youngest person I know who does that is in their late 30s. I don't know a single person under the age of 35, and I have a lot of former students. I've been in the school game 20 years now, so I have between 80 and 150 students a year. So it's a lot, and I have, secondary friends from who are brothers or sisters of students and friends of students, and then I have colleagues and all kinds of stuff going on. So I have a pretty wide range of friend in social media. And so I just don't, the mainstream media has been so bad and so corrupt and so one-sided this time around that one of the things that will come up repeatedly in the aftermath is how the mainstream media has completely exposed itself to be disinterested in dispassionate and bias-free reporting. It is really bad. That's a separate topic. The main topic of now is the post-election narrative, I guess you could say it. And the mainstream media is part and parcel with this, because the narrative is, hey, look at all these protests. They look at how people aren't accepting the Trump presidency, that the Electoral College is an anachronistic and an idea that whose time has come and gone. Those are synonymous. And that it's just pointless and silly. Well, those are pretty much the two main things you're seeing. And a bunch of racists are the ones who voted for Trump. They're all racists and they're all misogynists and they're all homophobic and xenophobic and all those kinds of things. It's a lot of name calling. Now, first of all, name calling is not an argument. So let's work backwards. Everybody who voted, all the racists came out, and the racist United States voted in Trump. Well, that doesn't really add up, does it? When you look at the numbers, and they're very easy to find. And if I have energy, I'll put the links down, but you can find this stuff on your own. Stop playing. You're on the internet all the time. So do something else besides watch nonsense. But if you look at the election results, you'll see that fewer whites voted for Trump than in previous elections, and more black people and Hispanic people voted for Trump than for the other Republicans, the last two, Romney and John McCain. Now, that's a little strange, and there's another layer to it as well, because you have a country that voted 2 terms, Barack Obama, 2 terms, 2008 and 2012. Then all of a sudden, the country became rabidly racist and voted in for Donald Trump. Well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. If you have somebody who's a bigoted racist and doesn't like black people, how did Barack Obama get elected twice? That doesn't really add up, does it? So, and also, if you have the same situation, then why did the Republican percentages go up for Trump in the black and Hispanic vote? Again, that does not fit. Let me rephrase. These facts do not fit the narrative, regardless of who you voted for, what you believe. Right? Your feelings and the mainstream media's feelings, because I guess this is the narrative they want, don't fit the facts. And I'm sorry, if you want the world to be a better place, and you want to be a part of that better place, you're going to need to use logic and reason. That's just how it works. So they're actually finding counties that voted for Obama twice, many of them in Pennsylvania. And they went over their voting records for the county, and they voted for Obama twice and then flipped to Trump this time around. That's kind of schizophrenic, but it also makes a lot of sense. Think about it and look at the Electoral College map, because that's the key. Last time I checked, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by about 1 million votes, 61 million to 60 million, roughly, right, so far. So, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, but the Electoral College vote was a blowout. Here's why. Look at the map. You have Pennsylvania, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin all going Republican. They all went Trump. And I may have mentioned this in the previous one, but Michael Moore, leftist filmmaker, said it best. He said, when you have factories that are closed, unionized workers who are just wanting to get out there and work in the factory and use their hands, people of all stripes and colors. The unions are not all white. You have people who are out of work and they feel miserable. You've now also had them called by the mainstream sources xenophobic, racist, bigoted, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic for 8 years. You're telling these people that they're unhappy with their situation and their distaste for this situation, and they're wanting there to be a change, and maybe the illegal immigration thing isn't working out. Now, you've been calling them racist for 8 years. How do you think they're going to react? If someone called you a racist for 8 years on TV, don't you think you'd be upset too? Don't you think you might say enough? The fact that calling someone a name is logically false, that's an ad hominem attack. But forget that. If those people don't like it, they're not going to continue it. And if something is disliked so badly and someone is out of work, they're not going to go for it. So the Rust Belt is really what did it. Look at West Virginia. Now, that's not a shock necessarily that went to Trump, but it went wild for Trump. I think 70% of the popular vote went to Trump in West Virginia. Guess what? Drive into West Virginia. You know what you see? Proud to be in the union. Unionized workers, right? Proud, local, and they give the number and the union stuff and all the American flags everywhere. Well, those people have been crushed by globalism. Their factories are in Mexico. They're in China. They're not here. The war on coal by the Obama administration and the Bush administration before that through the EPA, which does not answer to Congress and does not answer the regular people. If the EPA says your factory closes, your factory's closed, right? There's no vote. You don't call your lawyer. You're done. That's it. They have that kind of power. Well, those factories and the coal workers are struggling. So not only are they out of work and struggling to be employed and all these guys, it's just economic disaster. Now you're calling them names. What did you think they were going to do? Right? It doesn't matter which side you were on. You can't do those kinds of things and expect to win. It's terrible strategy. So what you're hearing with regard to what went on in the election versus what actually happened is a huge, huge difference. So those are the things that you really need to consider. The Rust Belt, the voting patterns of the counties, and how people are going to feel when you constantly berate them and tell them that they are racist, sexist, xenophobic, homophobic. You can't do it. You just can't. And the mainstream media and all the stuff that's shown that they're on the take and they are not honest has, they actually made it worse. Probably one of the worst election strategies I can think of. And I was raised Democrat from the get-go. And you can't do those kinds of things. Now, I'm a libertarian now, so I don't really need a government to tell me to put on my seatbelt. I think we need freedom. I think we need more of it, and we'll see if this administration can bring it off. I am reasonably hopeful, but I was hopeful in January 2009 when Barack Obama got elected. I was as excited and hopeful as anybody else. Didn't take 3 weeks for me to figure it out. So we'll see. We'll reconnect in the spring. Let's see, talk politics again later, and analyze the world around us. My name is Doug Marola, thefreelanceteacher.com, and I'll talk to you next time.